Let me ask you a little bit about the other aspect of your father, which is very well known, which is the philanthropic side. Because Indian businesses often do very well. Indian businessmen become billionaires, but they're not always very keen to give back as much as they've got. But your father, people like Shiv Nadar and Azim Premji, are leading lights in the field of philanthropy. Is that something which your heart beats for as well? I mean, do you see that as a kind of a major prerogative for you?
Definitely. Shiv Nadar Foundation was founded in 1994, and Shiv had established the SSN College of Engineering in Chennai. All the rest of the institutions, Shiv Nadar University, the Shiv Nadar Schools, Vidya Gyan, the Kiran Nadar Museum of Art, Shiksha, were all established after 2009, after I returned. So I think that, I think I'd like to say that it was a joint effort between Shiv, me, Kiran, my mother, as well as Shikhar, to actually get down and say that we wanted to build institutions and focus our attention there. So I think a lot of that has happened more recently, as in 2009 being more recent than 1994. The foundation has really taken good wings. By March of 2022, we would have spent $1 billion. We've got we've got 13,000 students in the system at the moment, 21,000 alumni all over the world doing incredibly well. So I think it's also taken the foundation about 2 decades to mature and to see the kind of impact it can have. And it's a very different foundation, because we're not spending that $1 billion towards thousands of and millions of lives. We're doing it much more focused. But I think Shiv's premise was that he is a product of quality education. And I think quality education still is, there's much left to be desired in our country. So I think the more that we can work towards that, the better it is.
You mentioned your mother. I mean, tell me a bit more about how your equation with her is like, because she's also done such a stellar job of the Kiran Nadar Museum. Are you interested in art yourself? I mean, do you guys talk about it, or is it something which is not really a passion for you?
No, actually, she's amazing. She's a national bridge player. She's one of the only women in India that plays in the open circuit. In 2018, she was the Asian Games bronze medalist. She's a Commonwealth Games gold medalist. So before art came, actually bridge has been her passion. She's been playing bridge since she was in her early 20s. She started collecting art in the 80s. So again, I grew up with HCL on one side and art on the other. Unfortunately, bridge I didn't pick up. Shame on me. It's been an incredible journey. Today, I think in the world, she's perhaps one of the largest collector of modern and contemporary Indian art. In about 2010-11, we thought that everybody has great collections, but Indian art is always considered as national monuments and heritage. But the way the American art market, European art market, Chinese art market, Japanese art market, that kind of development has not happened. But a lot of it also goes back to awareness. So we should build a museum. And we've finally acquired land to build museum near the Delhi airport. And we ran a global competition, and Sir David Adjaye, who built the African American Museum at the Smithsonian, has been selected as the architect. So I think it will be India's first private museum of a global repute, and I think that I hope that it continues to put Indian art on the map, and of course also makes us Indians very proud and aware of our own art, especially in the last 120 years.
What do you look forward to, Roshni? I mean, you're not even 40. You have incredible wealth. You are sitting at the top of one of India's largest companies. What drives you? I mean, what is really aspirational for you? Where do you see yourself at, say, 55, 60? What would you have liked to have achieved?
Well, I mean, I am 40. um, I think, I mean, then I mean, if it's HCL Technologies, definitely continues to grow, much bigger, much more dynamic. A lot of the fruits of our labor, you know, maybe our P&P business will be as big as our rest of our business as well. Lots of aspiration there. If I think of Vidyagyan, which is what I drive at the foundation, I've got a bunch of students who are now coming to the workplace. Maybe some of them will go on to establish their own companies and be entrepreneurs, and maybe they'll also have valuations like the ones we're seeing today, and that will make me pretty excited. If I look at the Habitats Trust, you know, by the time I'm 55, would I, through the Habitats Trust, be able to save a species from extinction? I think that would be a great achievement. I mean, there are so many elements. I think you just have to take each day as it comes and make sure that you're more effective than you're efficient. I think that's what is very important, just to be more effective than efficient.
Who are the people you really admire? I mean, of course, I'm keeping Shiv Nadar aside. We've spoken a lot about him and your mother, but I mean, if you have to look outside the HCL fold and think about some mentors or people who have really inspired you, who would you name?
I mean, it's a bit out of the box. I don't know how many people would relate to it, but you know, one of my role models and who I'm really inspired by is Jane Goodall. And I know she's not in tech and she's not, but she's in, and I had the privilege just in September to have, she's in her 80s now, but she's such a force, to have about 25 minutes with her on Zoom, just talking one-on-one. And I think it's an experience I will never forget. I met her 3 years before that in 2019 or 18 in January at the World Economic Forum. And there were all these world leaders, and I went up to her and I took a photograph with her and I said, I wish I could meet you and I could talk to you, because she was surrounded by so many people. Yeah, but she's unique, but she's a force. And yeah, the only thing that we're running out of it is clean air and good earth.
Yes, and 25 minutes on Zoom that you had with Jane Goodall seems to be the kind of a perfect time spent between two people conversing, which is what we have done today, Roshni, and we'll have to end it on that note too. But it's been a pleasure talking to you. I wish you all the best, you and your family, and thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you so much, Udayan. Take care.